A reading from the book of Isaiah. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne high and lofty, and the hem of his robe filled the temple. Seraphs were in attendance above him. Each had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their faces, and with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they flew. And one called to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. The pivots on the thresholds shook at the voices of those who called, and the house filled with smoke. And I said, Woe is me, I am lost, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. Yet my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then one of the seraphs flew to me, holding a live coal that had been taken from the altar with a pair of tongs. The seraph touched my mouth with it and said, Now that this has touched your lips, your guilt has departed, and your sin is blotted out. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send? And who will go for us? And I said, Here am I, send me. And he said, Go and say to this people, Keep listening, but do not comprehend. Keep looking, but do not understand. This is the story of our faith.
In case you haven't heard, I have amazing grandchildren. A couple of weeks ago, I was on grandmother duty in Vancouver with my 2-year-old granddaughter. She's struggling with going to daycare, or school as she demands it to be named. So we talked about light. We spoke about the unique light that lives within her, the love light that makes her super Fenris, and that can grow so big that it surrounds her and protects her. A light that she can share with others who are scared or hurt. She got it immediately and spoke of the light that lives in Mama and Papa and Grandma too. For me, it was an experience of wonder, a moment of the revelation of the holy. We humans yearn to experience wonder and awe. Intuitively, we sense that something tremendous and astonishing, far beyond our ability to know and understand, exists within the universe, and that a similar vast space for exploration exists within each of us, which, for lack of a better expression, we call the soul. Encounters with these vast spaces of mystery feel holy in nature, experiences of the one we call God, or the Creator, or the great I am who I am. The venues for these profound, often life-changing events are varied and often unpredictable. For some, physical encounters with angels or Jesus occur. For others, overwhelming feelings of peace or being loved cloak them. Others know wonder and awe through engagement on a street corner with a homeless person, or when they fall in love, or when there's a birth of a baby. Many come to know God through the diverse beauty of nature. Though children don't have the language to name spiritual experiences, many of them speak of being clothed in light, or hearing a voice, or feeling sheltered and protected. As an aside, a great deal of research has been undertaken to understand the spiritual nature of children, and one of the most fascinating findings is that children who feel connected to a great power and have spiritual practices are happier, regardless of the religious tradition. We follow a tradition constructed around stories of encounters with God, a God who continually and persistently reaches out to be in relationship with the creation and the created. The situations of encounter are many. God is met in a garden, in a burning bush. God is found in times of desolation, illness, and death. God comes as a babe, a child, a man of parable, healing, and teaching. The story we heard from Isaiah describes a moment of wonder and awe and absolute terror. Isaiah sits in the temple. He actually sees the Lord, enthroned with winged angels doing God's bidding. Isaiah's fear becomes replaced with shame and a sense of unworthiness. God directs an angel to burn away the guilt so that the prophet will be able to hear the call, a call to speak on God's behalf. And I say, please, God, save those interactions for somebody else. The truth is, I cannot, and the church cannot, predict or control how God will decide to be in a relationship with us. For myself, I want to be in a deeper relationship with God. I want to know God more fully. I want to experience the wonder, power, glory, and love of God. And I want to know myself more profoundly. Because somehow those two things, knowledge of self and knowledge of God, are somehow bound together. Perhaps you want this as well. Are there ways that we can help one another realize this deep longing? The Christian church tradition is that the path to knowing and serving God involves the community. A couple of days ago, I ran across a beautiful description of the role of the church. The author talked of the church as a safe place whose call is to create a hospitable place for the holy. Hospitality for the holy. Is that call as overwhelming and fearful as the call to Isaiah? Or is it something to which we can respond, "Here I am, God, send me"? Are we up to the challenge of creating a hospitable environment so that God, our community, and individuals may have the space, the safety, the comfort, the freedom from distraction needed for moments of mystery or holy connection? Keith and I had friends over to visit the other day. We hadn't seen them in years. I was fussing, as usual. I wanted our place to be clean and tidy. We shopped for food and carefully prepared it. Keith washed the floors. I used the good china. Keith asked, "Was there always so much work involved when people dropped over when you were a kid?" And I answered, "Well, it kind of depended on the visitor." If we, the church, are hosting, providing a hospitable environment for a holy encounter, it might require a bit of fussing. Sometimes it feels like not having a sanctuary space of our own can feel limiting. A place of beauty and quiet can be a refuge and also a catalyst for deepening relationships. Stained glass, large beams of wood, evocative art, liturgical pieces of cross, font, and cup can help prepare our hearts and minds to receive the presence of God. And like the good china used for high and holy family gatherings, such additions change the space and the heart. There is beauty in holiness, and holiness in beauty. It could be that if this space doesn't immediately evoke mystery and point to the grand and glorious God, like many of the great cathedrals do, our focus may have to be different. The focus of our community may be upon more uncomplicated disciplines, on creating the space to go within and meet the one whose still small voice whispers in the silences of Lectio Divina, who comes through the disciplined prayer of Vespers, who can be heard in and through the flugelhorn and guitar, the rhythm of George's bass, or the words that meld in the voices of Adam and Angela. You know, every time my family gathers, be it my large clan or my nuclear family, we tell stories. Stories of remember when? Stories of accidents and mishaps, stories of adventure and catastrophe, tales of longing and even hope. Sometimes we squabble about the details, dates, and interpretation, but we are, in the midst of the stories, reconnected to one another and reminded who we are and even who we are not. So too for this community of God, seekers and Christ followers. Our faith stories have the power to connect us to each other and to the holy. We cannot make God show up on a Sunday morning or during a Vesper service. We cannot give a magical incantation like a recipe that will bake into an experience of wonder and awe. Maybe, though, we can be a hospitable host through welcome, ritual, song, word, and silence that will open the soul to the one who eagerly waits. And so the light, which birthed the universe and which at times may flicker within us, will shine with greater clarity and power. May it be so.